Hey everybody, this is the light. Welcome to my channel. I know it's been a long time since I've been doing narcissistic videos, but sometimes you gotta separate yourself from that. I'm growing spiritually. I'm also, it's weird. I'm growing spiritually, but at the same time falling apart. You know how that is sometimes in life where the universe is throwing all these different things at you, but at the same time, you're growing from the things that are being thrown at you. So 2019 has been a very trying year, okay? Um, like my job is going crazy. My health isn't that great right now. Um, just all these different challenges. But at the same time, I'm still blessed, basically. So I hope everyone is doing well. I know I probably lost a lot of my fan base, but that's all right. As long as my videos are going to be up and people are able to get the information, that's all that matters. So please stop what you're doing, like, subscribe. If you'd like to make a donation to me, you can do so. When you make a donation to me through my PayPal or Cash App, I email you and I will ask you some questions if you have a topic or a situation that you're going through, and I will answer it in your own special video on my channel. Okay, you can watch other videos below this one of video responses I've done for people who donate to me. Okay, I'm thinking about opening up a service to y'all where I may call y'all if y'all want to talk. Of course, you will have to pay for it, but I'm thinking about it. I'm still not a certified life coach, but sometimes people do want my advice, and I'm willing to give it if you understand that I am not a psychiatrist, and I'm not a life coach yet. Okay? But I have been through a lot with narcissists and manipulators, or just negative spirits in general, and I do believe that is my calling, is to help others because of what I've been through. Okay, I consider myself a light worker. All right, anyway, let's get into this video. This has been on my mind for a long time, and I kind of stayed away from it because I notice that people don't like to talk about the healing aspect when it comes to narcissism. When that's the reason why we're watching these videos, right? Yes, to kind of clarify if we are dealing with narcissists, but also because at the end of the day, we want to move past these emotions and these feelings that, that the narcissist place upon us, right? All these experiences has really got our mind effed up, so to say, right? So this video is really for people who can't move on from their narcissistic parents, or their grandparents were narcissists, and of course that impacted their parents and how their parents raised them, basically. So I believe that both my parents were codependent, and that impacted how I was raised, of course, because my mom, has a narcissistic mom, and that was a mother, that was a parent that she chased. She also chased narcissistic men. My grandfather, my mother's father, he was abusive as well. I don't know if he was a narcissist, I'm not too sure, but I know that he was abusive to my mom. He also married an abusive woman who physically abused my mother. So my mother had a narcissistic mother who she chased her whole entire life, trying to get that love from. And then she had a emotional and verbally abusive father. So, of course, her being codependent, always running after people, chasing people for love, for attention, for all of that, for friendship, whatever, relationships, whatever. Um, the choices that she made because of how she was raised, of course, impacted me. And then the man that she chose to raise me, which was my stepfather, he turned out to be a narcissist. So that impacted me. Okay, so I not only, even though my mom was the codependent one and my biological father was a codependent one, and I became codependent, I still had to forgive my parents, even though I was extremely close to my mom. I believe my mom was one of my soulmates. Yes, your parents can be your soulmate. A friend can be your soulmate. Your cat, your dog, or whatever I felt can be your soulmate. But it doesn't have to be a romantic thing to be a soulmate. But I had to forgive my mom. As close as we were close like sisters or like twins or whatever the case is. I had to forgive my mom because I had to look at how she was raised. And that is my message to people who are still holding on and dwelling on the past of how their parents raised them. You got to understand, at one point, your parents were children too. Your narcissistic or your sociopath or psychopath parents, you better look at your grandparents and your great-grands and try to find out why your parents were a mess. They are just not, they didn't just do that to you or still continuing to do these horrible things to you because they just came into the earth, came into the world like, you know what? I'm just going to have a child. I'm just going to F up this child's life. No, they're repeating a cycle. They're repeating a generational curse over and over and over again. And here it comes you. You're the chosen one. That's why you're watching this video. That's why you're studying this. That's why you're trying to move on, because unfortunately, you are the chosen spirit. You are the chosen person that is to break this generational curse so that you don't continue on with the abusive behavior of narcissism, or it doesn't have to just be narcissism, any type of abusive behavior and choices and habits and patterns. And it's you that needs to break this chain, okay? And it's important for you to heal. Healing is extremely important because why? You don't want to marry a narcissistic man or woman and then you have children, and then now there you go, you transfer that demon, not through you but through, you know, your mate, your spouse. And now is a possibility your child can be a narcissist because you decided to marry a narcissist, or breed, as we say, have a child or children with narcissists, okay? And this is what I did. This was part of my healing. I didn't want to do that. I wanted to blame my father for never being a dad to me. Never being a dad. I had daddy issues. I probably still have some residue from, one, not having a relationship with my biological father, him being in and out of my life, my entire life, until he died when I was 20, you know. And then my mother marries a narcissist who was trying to create me into, you know, their little replica. You know how narcissists are. They try to create you into, you know, what is it? Their protege, you know. And that's what he was trying to do. So I had to forgive my mom twice. Damn. You got with a codependent man who basically ran away from me, didn't want to be a father, didn't know how to be a father. Emotions was always all over the place, would show love, but at the same time pull back because he grew up with a narcissistic mom who fucked up his head. Excuse my language. And it wasn't until I know my details are all over the place, but it's such a long story about my parents. I'm just trying to give you a background of my mom and stuff like that. But I had to forgive my mom. She picked codependent biological father for me. And then when that didn't work out, a year later, I'm a year old, she goes and she runs into the arms of one of the worst narcissists I've met my entire life, and that's who raised me from age 1 to 12. Okay, so I continue as soon as I started dating. Not even before I started dating, even my crushes, the boys that I liked, were unavailable men. Okay, and this happens a lot to us who were raised by narcissists. You run after either the narcissistic type, or you run after what? You run after unavailable women and men, because the narcissist didn't give you no love, didn't give you attention. So your energy is empty. So you're going to go around attracting empty people who have nothing to give to you. Because why? Technically you are empty. You have so many voids from your childhood and the different things that you went through. So for years and years and years, even before I even lost my virginity, I'm talking for 6 years old, my little boyfriends were narcissistic. Okay, like, and you know, when you're a kid, that's my little boyfriend, that's my little girlfriend. I remember, like, the behaviors of these little boys. They were narcissistic. They were abusive. Okay, who God knows how they were raised. I remember that. I remember I liked one boy from, like, age, I'm gonna say maybe like 10 to like 16, who did not want anything to do with me. Okay, he didn't like me, you know, but I kept chasing after him, kept running after him, kept chasing him. And I know a lot of you do that because you're not just doing that just because, you know, oh, I am not good enough. No, you're doing them because you didn't get that love. You didn't get that attention. You didn't get nurtured at all as a child is supposed to. And I don't know. My healing started first I went back. You gotta go back into history. Just like when you're trying to find out your DNA. You get what I'm trying to say? Like, it's sad, like African Americans, you know, Native Americans, a lot of us, you know, we have lost history because of slavery. So you're lost, you're confused, you don't know really where you came from. That's the way I kind of view the healing aspect of it. You got to do research. You got to go back. If you can trace your family history, you know, if you can talk to cousins and aunts and uncles and find out, how was my grandmother? What was your experience with them? Talk to a neighbor. Find out how and even if they're dead, find out how these individuals are or were. Because this is like the link to your healing and your understanding. So you could be like, oh shit, you know what? It was messed up what my mother and my father did to me, but I'm gonna have to forgive them. You may never forget. I didn't forget all those days I was sitting at the window waiting for my father and he never showed up. I never forgot those things. Even to this day, if a man keeps his word, it's like, oh my gosh, he kept his word. He kept his word. He said he was going to take me out. He said he was going to do this, and he did it. And that's like, I sometimes give them a doggy biscuit for doing bare minimal shit. You know, this is how messed up these narcs or these parents that didn't nurture us do to us. You know, this is how messed up our minds are. We have to, don't beat yourself up. You have to literally clean slate. You have to clean all that debris. But the first step, if you did grow up with narcissistic parents or codependent parents is you have to forgive your parents. Forgiving your parents is also like forgiving yourself of the shit that you allowed. And you only allowed that because that's how you were raised. Or that's the environment. Whether it was a guardian or whoever, it doesn't even have to be your biological parents, adopted parents, whoever raised you. Okay? In the very, very psychological, impressionable years from 1 to 7, whoever you were with during those years, from 1 to 7, 1 to 25, like, that dictates who you are as a person right now. It wasn't until after, it was easier to forgive my mother. I don't know why, but it was. It was easier to forgive my mom. Maybe because I knew her story. My mother went through a lot. My mom died at 53. That's young. Ooh, that's young, right? Was it 53 or 56? I think my dad died at 53 and my mom died at 56. Yes. So, very, very young. But when I think about it, all the things that my parents went through in just 50-something years, they went through a lot of shit. I see why they died young. They went through a lot of abuse. And they never really healed. My mom healed some, but they never really healed from their childhood, their traumas, the things that they went through with their parents. And because of the things that they went through growing up, it reflected in their life. Instead of my dad going to therapy and dealing with it, he never got over it. He always battled with his narcissistic mother to the day he died. And his way of coping was, my dad did pills, my dad snorted coke, my dad was an alcoholic, my dad was, obese, had very, very poor eating habits. I'm an overweight person, just like my dad is, but I actually eat way better than my father did. My dad ate anything that was flying, anything was swimming, anything was, walking. Basically, he actually was allergic to seafood, but he ate anything and everything. And, a lot of us emotionally eat, smoke, drink, fuck, all of that, okay? And that's how my dad dealt with his traumas from narcissistic abuse. Sad. Never got over it. Never healed from it. I don't even know if my dad knew what the hell narcissism was before he died. I doubt he did. I doubt my mom even was aware of what narcissism was, which is crazy because she studied mental health at one point in college. I don't understand how it didn't click. Maybe it wasn't meant for her. Maybe it wasn't meant for her to know. But when you know your parents' story, when you know what they went through, even I had to forgive my narcissistic grandmother for all the horrible shit she said to me, did to my own father, which led him to not being able to love me. Once you get over that, I'm telling you, you will heal. It's amazing. You will not only heal for yourself, you will heal for your parents. You'll start to feel sorry, like, damn. I'm telling you, a lot of your narcissistic parents, grandparents, they went through some horrific shit that is like in no comparison to what they did to you sometimes. It's sad to say a lot of shit that happened to us in our lives, we gotta be like, dust the shoulder off and keep it moving and thank God we survived it. It's really messed up. And it doesn't happen overnight because I still have residue. I've been healing for the past, on my healing journey for, about past 5-6 years now. And I still have residue from the shit that was done to me. I still am insecure in certain areas. So it's like a never ending thing. You always are going to be growing and healing and thriving, okay? But going back to my father, that was harder for me to forgive him because, you know, girls, we love our daddies, okay? And my dad not being able to love me or show love, or however to say it, really affected me. Really affected me terribly. I felt like I was chasing my own father. And it wasn't until my mom died and I had nowhere to go. In New York, it's very expensive, to where I had to move in